usually what happens. And now let me share my screen, and I will share this one. So that's this one. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, what does it say?
I don't know. It's so small.
Yeah, I know. I'll make it.
It says week 5 instructor session updated spring 2023.
Yeah, that's correct. And so I can't seem to. Oh, there it goes. I will make it bigger. View, zoom, 200. There you go. Now can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. So week 5 instructor session. So congratulations for making it this far. So for your week 6. So there are 3 stages to the writing process. So the writing process has pre-writing, writing, and rewriting. And so the different forums, even though we're doing the same essay, so week 4 was pre-writing, and then that means that you come up with an outline, you make those mind map, those circle things, and you're still coming up with a topic and coming up with an outline. So that's pre-writing, so that was week 4. Then in week 5, the second stage of the writing process is called writing, where you transform your outline into 5-paragraph rough drafts. So then most of you did really well, so I didn't have to give too much feedback on that. And then week 6, next week, is known as rewriting, because rewriting means that you've done your rough draft and now you want to correct all the different mistakes, and then you're going to discuss what revision strategies do you use to revise your paper. So then we're going to go over in week 6 different kinds of revision strategies so that you can use to review your paper. So next week is known as revision week or rewriting week. So pre-writing week 4, rewriting, writing is week 5, and then week 6 is rewriting. So those are the 3 stages of your, and also pre-writing in this case, they did pre-writing twice for the first essay. Pre-writing. Week 2 was also pre-writing. Because when we write an essay, we spend the most time in the pre-writing stage, because the more accurate your outline is, the easier it is to write your rough draft, and then the less mistakes you'll have when you get to the revision stage. So that's why you have two of the assignments on pre-writing. So next week we're going to be doing rewriting, which is we're going to discuss how we edit our paper. So in week 6, you're going to prepare your essay for its final submission. So in week 6, you're going to submit your essay and it's going to count as your final draft as your midterm. So in week 6 forum, all you have to do by Wednesday is just upload your rough draft by, just like with week 5, by Wednesday. Then this is where it's different from week 5, is from Wednesday to Sunday, you're going to discuss how you revised your paper. And I will go over different kinds of, there are different kinds of revision. So here are the different methods of revision. You're going to choose at least one of these methods and discuss which one or two of these methods did you use. So did you do the read out loud method? That means you read your paper out loud and listen to hear if there's any mistakes. That's known as the read out loud revision method. Scissor method. Did you cut up your paragraphs and then put it and rearrange it? There's another one I didn't get a chance to write in called reverse engineering. I'll add that in later. Printout method. Some people like to print out their paper so that they can read it and have a physical copy. Have a person read your paper for you. So did you have someone read your paper? A take a break method. That means that you took multiple breaks, and then you took a break here for 5 minutes, then you came back and corrected some of it, then you went out and took a break again and came out and corrected. So that's the take a break method. Reading your paper backwards. I've never tried that particular method, but several students tell me that when they read their paper backwards, they actually catch mistakes. Have any of you tried to read your paper backwards? No, okay. So, no. But some people swear by that. Specific focus method. That means that you focus on one grammar mistake at a time. So, for example, the first time I read the paper, I'll check for comma mistakes, like comma usage. The second time I go over the paper, I'll make sure there are no APA mistakes. And then the third time I go over the paper, I make sure there are no essay structure mistakes. In other words, usually when people look at their paper, they look at all the mistakes all at the same time. But in the specific focus method, you just specifically focus on one kind of grammar error at a time to correct your paper. So you would say, did I do all my capitalization? And then you look through the paper to make sure everything is capitalized. Did I put in all my periods? Then you look through your paper for all the periods, and you don't check for anything else. So that's known as specifically focusing one grammar item at a time, which, by the way, I like to do that for grading. So peer review. What kind of peer review did you give in the week 4 and 5? Did you give appreciation feedback, mentoring feedback, coaching feedback, and which of those feedbacks helped you the most with writing your week 6 final draft? Color code paragraph method. Some people like to use their different color pens and then write different colors for each of their paragraphs to see if the paragraphs match with the thesis statement. So some people use the color code paragraph method. There's one more method where you take your essay apart and then you rewrite your essay back into an outline. That's known as reverse engineering method. And so in the week 6, you're going to choose one or two of these methods. So a sample post would be, I used the printout method when I revised my paper because I printed out my paper so that I can read and physically have it in my hands. Okay, that's one person's post. Another person's post is, I trust my husband because he was a major in English. I had my husband read over my papers because when I went to high school, English was my worst subject. Okay, that's somebody's post number 2. Post number 3 is, I swear by Grammarly, and I use Grammarly for everything. Oh, that was post number 3. You get the idea. And then color code and that sort of thing. So you're going to choose one of these methods and discuss how you use that method to revise your paper. Some people can't make up their mind and they choose 2 or 3 methods. Well, actually, I use more than one method. I use specific focus and the scissor method because blah, 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 blah. So in your week 6 forum, you're going to discuss which one of these methods you used which was the best method for you to correct your paper. So that's known as editing and that sort of thing. So you won't be you'll be doing a mixture of peer reviewing other people's papers, and you're going to be discussing how you revised your paper. So your week 6 forum has 2 purposes: to discuss your editing and revision strategies and to peer review other people's paper. Typically, a typical student would write one post about their revision strategies, and then one post about some person's paper that they peer review. So then that's your 2 posts. So most people do it that way. So in this forum, you don't have to peer review 2 people's papers because for one post, you're going to be discussing your revision strategies. Does that make sense? So that's how week 5 and week 6 are different. Does that make sense? Yeah? No questions about that. All right, so I will give you this handout or these lecture notes in your email so that when you do your week 6 forum, you can look over and decide which one of these methods you use to revise your paper, okay? And so revision also includes APA, formatting, APA reference citation, and all of that. And also I think that this school has smart thinking, so did you go and have a tutor look at your paper? So I'm going to add a couple more: reverse engineering and go see a tutor and Grammarly. So I was still writing this when this class started. So there are many methods of revision that you could choose from. So that's week 6. That's week 6 forum. And that's basically it. So what exactly is your revision process? How do you correct your paper? So week 6 forum is similar to the writing process forum where you discussed your unique writing process. In week 6, you discussed your unique revision process when you posted 2 students. So in week 6, you're going to have 2 assignments: the week 6 assignment, the week 6 forum, and your week 6 final draft. In week 5, you have your week 5 forum and your week 5 quiz. Is that clear? And in week 4, you have your week 4 forum and your week 4, we finished week 4, didn't we? Okay, forget about week 4. Right, so for the week 5 lecture, we're going to talk about 8 kinds of essays. So there are 8 kinds of essays in English. So in this class, we go over the narrative essay, the comparison contrast essay, and the persuasive essay. So in week 9, you're going to be writing a persuasive essay. And so today's lecture will go over the other kinds of essays that we don't get to write in this class. And so the first kind of essay is known as the cause and effect essay. The cause and effect essay shows the cause and the effect of a topic. So for example, you could write about the causes of COVID-19 or the effects of COVID-19. So that's the cause and effect essay. Definition essay is where you define 3 aspects of the main idea. What is love? What is freedom? What makes a good wife? What makes a bad wife? What makes a good salad? Or that sort of thing. So then you would say love can be defined as self-sacrifice, kindness. In other words, you sacrifice for other people. You don't just think about yourself. So that's one definition of love. Another definition of love is that you're very kind to that person. And then another definition of love is that you think of that person only. So basically then that becomes your 3-body paragraph. So that is a definition essay, what is. And that is very common in biology. And also classification essay classifies people or things into groups or classifications. So that is very common in science. So you would say that a tree has branches, leaves, and roots. Okay, that is a classification essay because I'm classifying something into its groups. So a classification essay is very common if you're taking biology or chemistry. So you would say that oxygen is made up of hydrogen, and I forgot the other one. Okay, that's water. Water consists of oxygen and hydrogen, H2O. So classification means different kinds of something. So different kinds of students who attend Fortis College, different kinds of foods that you eat for better sleep. So you would write the different kinds of food that I eat for better sleep. Drinking milk, having hot oatmeal, and having chamomile tea. Then your body paragraphs would be milk, tea, and oatmeal. So that's a classification essay where you list groups. Comparison contrast essay, that's going to be the second essay that you're going to do in this class where we compare 2 similar things. Los Angeles is a better place to live than New York. And then we're going to go over that a lot in my future lectures. So I'm not going to touch on that very much. Persuasive essay versus argumentative essay. That's going to be your week 9 forum. You're going to convince the reader of your point of view. Then you're going to go to the procon. You're going to go to the procon.org website to choose a topic for your persuasive essay. So you could check out the procon.org. It's only got one N. Procon.org website even now, even though it's like 5 weeks or 4 weeks away. But it's good so that way you have plenty of time to look at the website and choose something you want to write about. So for persuasive essay, you would say abortion is immoral because. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Or women should be allowed to choose what they want to do with their bodies. So that's become a very popular topic ever since the abortion, Roe versus Wade was overturned. A lot of students have been writing about abortion, especially females. And then, wow, somebody is drawing on this. I wonder how they did that. Okay, and then example, illustrative essay. And so when you have an illustrative essay, you solve a problem, you give examples or illustrations of a topic. So 6 and 7 are very, very similar. So that you would say, Los Angeles is a great place to live because. Okay, so that is a descriptive essay. An illustrative essay solves a problem. So I would say the solution to homelessness is solution A, solution B, solution C. So that is an example illustrative essay. And then here, descriptive essay, Los Angeles is a great place to live because description A, description B, description C. In other words, because of the beaches, the mountains, and the universities. Then you would describe those places. A process essay is a how-to essay. How to get rich, how to lose weight. So in order to lose weight, you need to step 1, step 2, step 3. Then step 1, step 2, and step 3 become your body paragraphs. Your expository paragraph, expository essay, actually an expository essay is all of these essays. In other words, anytime you inform the reader of your topic, you are exposing the facts to the reader of that essay. So that is an expository essay. A narrative essay, that's the first essay we're doing in this class, which is you write about your experience. The most embarrassing event of my life was. And so that's the claim. And then you have to write, well, why was this event embarrassing? Because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. We don't just simply write the story. So that is where people get confused, is they confuse a story versus an essay. When we write a story, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you just write your events. And the most exciting event usually is in the middle. That's known as a climax. That's what happens when you write a book, books, movies, creative writing. And a lot of stories are fictional. In other words, it's all made up. I just made this up off the top of my head. So we don't have any, we don't really need a thesis statement. We just have to have one main plot that makes sense to keep the reader hooked to the story. Okay, what hooks you to the story? So if you're going to write a mystery, you want to know who killed that person. So that's what hooks you to the story. And so mainly stories tend to be fictional. So that's known as creative writing. Then for essays tend to be non-fictional. That's the big difference between essays and stories. Is stories tend to be like fairy tales, tend to be fictional, while essays tend to be true. And so that's the big difference. So when we write an essay, then we make a claim and have 3 reasons. You don't have to make a claim and 3 reasons if you're writing a story. If you did that, everybody would fall asleep. So for an essay, you're reading it for the truth. You want to know some truth about a topic, something true. And so that's the difference between, and that's why when we write a story, we don't really need to have APA. For instance, if I'm going to write about Little Red Riding Hood, do I need to put APA after every fact? Unless I'm writing about what somebody said about Little Red Riding Hood, then yes, I would use, that becomes a literature essay. It becomes an essay. As soon as I have to cite something, it turns into an essay. Did you notice how I just said, oh, literature essay, yeah. So then as soon as you write an essay, then you have to prove that what you say is true. So that's why you have to have a APA, so that you don't plagiarize what someone else said, and you give credit to the researcher. Whereas for a story, since it's from your imagination, you don't have to cite it unless you're writing about that story, like in a literature review. So that's the difference between a story and an essay. So some students are still writing stories in which you just write, in 2023, I had this job. 2020, I had this job. Then 15 years later, I did this. 10 years later, I did that. And so nowadays, I'm doing this. Okay, that's a story. So I had a lot of those kind of stories. Like my brother, he got married to wife number 1, then wife number 2, then wife number 3, now he's divorced. That's also a story. So I'm not making a claim, and I don't have any reasons. That's simply the story of my brother's life. He had 3 wives, and now he's divorced, and is separated, and has his daughter over here. The wives are over there, or someplace else. So anyway, so does everyone understand the difference between an essay versus a story? So for your first assignment, you're going to be writing an essay, not a story. So April, what's the difference between an essay versus a story?
A story is kind of like personal.
Yeah, it's personal.
And then essay, you make a claim.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another difference. Yes, when we write an essay, it's objective because we're writing about the truth about, and we're doing research on a topic, and we're writing about the facts of that topic. Whereas if we're doing a story, then it's the personal events of your life. However, the reason why people get confused with narrative essay is because you are writing about yourself. So then people are thinking, well, if I'm writing about myself, it's got to be a story. That's where the confusion comes in. And so, but the narrative, narrative is actually a little bit of both. It overlaps, okay, for writing your story and essay, and therein lies the confusion. So, but what all essays have in common is you make a claim and have 3 reasons. It doesn't matter if you're writing about yourself or writing about somebody else or writing about your topic. Like abortion or gun control, okay? You still have a claim and you make 3 reasons. That I'll make very clear when you see my flowcharts. All of the essays have the same, okay, I'll just go through it fast just for see how everybody has an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. No matter what kind of essay, I will do it slower. No matter what kind of essay you're writing, essays all have an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And then stories have their own structure too. I just didn't bother to write it. It's called classical story structure. And it looks kind of like a hump, like this. Middle, beginning, triggering event, climax, resolution. So a story has a totally different structure than a essay. So no matter what kind of essays you have, it looks kind of like an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And so this is a cause and effect, that's classification. And I remember using this same template to fill in all of these. Introduction, 3 body paragraphs. Every essay has the same, this thing. I will go over it much slower. Definition essay has the introduction. First I just want to go over the base. So when you write any essay for your class, and when you revise your essay, you have to make sure that your essay fits this template, that you have your introduction, you have your 3 body paragraphs that match your main idea in your introduction. Because regardless of the kind of essay, here you have a definition essay, here you have a descriptive essay, I will go slower, and then illustrative essay, and so on. I guess that you get the point, so I'm not going to go over all 8 of them. Instead, I'm going to go over everything way slower. Now, most of my students seem to like these colored, they're all visual. So you can tell me later after this whether you found these pictures to be helpful in helping you understand the difference between an essay and a story. So here's the first kind of essay. Now I'll do it slower. Cause and effect. So here we talk about the causes and the effects of your topic. And so your thesis statement would be topic plus opinion plus effect 1, effect 2, effect 3. Oh yeah, effect 1, 2, and 3. So the effects of World War II on China was widespread destruction, countless deaths, and massive evacuation of entire cities. And then paragraph 2 would be widespread destruction. Paragraph 3 would be countless deaths. Paragraph 4 would be massive evacuation of entire cities. And I don't know if you ever watched Joy Luck Club, but that's what happened to the main character's family, where the Japanese dropped the bomb on the Shanghai, and then everybody had to flee the bomb. Okay, and then that's how the family in Joy Luck Club, they all got separated, and then later on, by the end of the story, they reunite. So that's the effects of World War II. Effects. Then you could talk about the causes. So the causes of World War II would be cause 1, cause 2, cause 3. So you still have an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and then here the 3 body paragraphs match the thesis statement. And then here you have a conclusion in which you repeat your thesis statement and summarize your essay in one. So here you have an example of effect 1, effect 2, effect 3. So here we're still doing cause and effect. So when we write a cause and effect essay, you're either writing about the causes of whatever it is, 1, 2, cause 1, cause 2, cause 3, or you're writing about the effects of something, effect 1, effect 2, effect 3. So one essay would be the causes of COVID-19, or the origin of COVID-19 were 1, 2, and 3. And then a different essay would be the effects of COVID-19 were massive deaths, massive, a lot of, well, that would be a cause and effect essay. So that's the effects. And then classification essay is when we put something into groups. So the thesis statement would be, on the road, there are many kinds of drivers: careful drivers, reckless drivers, and angry drivers. So here in a classification essay, we're putting something into groups. And so then paragraph 2 would be about careful drivers. And then the next paragraph would be about reckless drivers. And then the paragraph after this, angry drivers. I have one student who tells me she's teaching her gifted child. You could teach this gifted child this. 9 is about just the right age where we transition from a 3-paragraph essay structure to 5-paragraph essay structure. So you're supposed to have learned this in middle school, more or less. So this is a review of roughly 6th, 7th, and 8th grade English. So a lot of people have not been in school for decades. So that's why they have to review all of this. It's like brand new when you don't remember it. So yeah, those of you who are homeschooling, you can teach this to your kids. And after 5th grade, they can do this. You just have to simplify. Kids are not interested in driving. They might be interested in what sweet foods they can or cannot eat, for instance. There are many kinds of sweet foods. M&Ms, what are the 2 other kinds of candies? Whatever they are, your kid will know that. Or video games. There are many kinds of video games. Video game 1, 2, and 3. That kids know about. TikTok videos. What kinds of TikTok videos do you like to watch? Then you would have, that would be a classification. So you can change the topic for your kid if you're teaching kids, especially if you got a gifted kid who's bored at school. That was my brother. So he was so bored. Anyway, so thesis statement. Here you have a classification, and then you have group 1, group 2, group 3. So here the body paragraphs match the content of the thesis statement. And then you have your conclusion. And then you have comparison contrast. Okay, this is for your essay 2. I'm going to go over this a lot. So you're going to be doing a comparison contrast essay for weeks, oh my goodness, 7, 8, 11, 12. Yeah, so the second half of your class is going to be a comparison contrast essay where you compare 2 things. New York is a better place to live than Los Angeles because New York has better food, entertainment, and transportation. So that's known as the alternate method. So here, paragraph 2 would be New York because of the food. New York is better than LA because of the food. New York is better than LA because of the entertainment. And New York is better than LA because of the transportation. So, Tamisha, what is a classification essay? Jasmine, what is a classification essay? Chantal, what is a classification essay? You're on mute.
Is that where you organize things into categories and give examples of it?
Yes, that's pretty much classification essay is very, very common in science papers. Asia, what is a cause and effect essay?
The cause and effect essay is like when you comparing 2 things, this is what caused it and these are the effects of it.
Right, so one of them would be the effects of COVID-19, and another essay could be the causes of COVID-19. So there'll be two different essays for that. So you could write about that for your for one of your classes. And so we've gone over 2 different kinds of essays. And what is a comparison contrast essay? Jasmine. You got to know this because you're going to have to write this for this class, for the second half of this class. So we're going to go over this a lot. So Tamisha, what is a comparison contrast essay? Because after week 6, in week 7, you're going to have to come up with comparison contrast topics. Books are better than movies. Childhood versus adulthood, stuff like that. April, what is a comparison contrast essay? I think you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, yeah. So
You're comparing something?
you're comparing two things. So you could say online teaching is better than, worse than face-to-face teaching. So which do you like better, online teaching or face-to-face teaching?
Face to face.
Face-to-face teaching. What I miss about teaching face-to-face is seeing my students' eyes. See, if I look across the classroom and everybody looks bored, I know I'm going too slow. And then at the same time, if I go too fast, everyone looks like this. Huh? So then I have got to slow down. But when everyone's camera is off, it's difficult for me to gauge if I'm going too slow or going too fast. I also miss being able to go, okay, so and so, what do you do? And also having people go up to the board and solve problems for me. That I miss from also face-to-face classes. So many things that's different. I had to adjust to when I taught this to teach this. So comparison contrast. You could also use the block method. In other words, you write all about New York in one paragraph and all about LA in the next paragraph. I will go over this much more in I think it's lesson 7 and 8. So I won't go over this a lot. Just be aware that you're going to be doing comparison contrast after you finish your narrative essay. So start thinking about some kind of topic. All right. So here, definition essay. A definition essay means that you want to define the topic. So here, the word qi in Chinese means extension of one's soul, a gaseous liquid, and one's breath. And so in Chinese, this word qi has many different meanings depending on how qi, 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 qi. So if I used a different musical note, then it has a different meaning. If I say ma, that means my mother. If I say ma, that means a horse. So if you have the wrong musical note in Chinese, you can easily call your mother-in-law a horse. And so that's a very common American mistake when an American tries to impress his Chinese mother-in-law and calls her a horse by mistake. Yeah, that's a common joke. So anyway, so here you have a definition essay where you have a definition of qi is extension of one's soul. So that's paragraph 1. Oh, he's so cute. And then gaseous liquid, paragraph 2, and then one's breath, paragraph 3. But all he can do is a 3-paragraph essay when he gets a little bit older. Yeah, and I think Asia's the one with the 9-year-old. Yeah, she could teach this is something a 9-year-old can do. A little kid at that age, probably just a paragraph. Anyway, so that is a definition essay where you define. So you have definition 1, definition 2, and definition 3, and your conclusion. So here you have definition 1, 2, and 3. So Tamisha, what is a definition essay? Jasmine, what is a definition essay? The funny thing is when I teach second graders, they are so eager to want to say, they jump over each other saying, it's definition, it's a definition. When I used to teach this to second graders. So not this, but April, what is a definition essay? Chantel, what is a definition essay? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
A definition essay means that you write and you define the 3 topics in other words, what is a cute baby? A cute baby is someone is innocent, doesn't, so 3 things. So you would have 3 different definitions, and then that becomes your definition essay. And so here, and then a descriptive essay, to celebrate Chinese New Year, my family plans a big reunion, has a big dinner, and hands out money in red envelopes to the children. And so here you have the thesis statement, and you have a description of what is Chinese New Year. So you plan a big reunion, you have a big dinner, and you hand out red envelopes to the children. So that is a descriptive essay. And so here you have description 1, description 2, description 3 that matches the thesis statement. Then an illustrative essay illustrates the topic. Some unusual places to get married are under the water, on top of a roller coaster, and in a Star Trek spaceship in Las Vegas. And so here in illustrative essay you would have some unusual places to get married is under the water, in a roller coaster, and in a Star Trek spaceship. So that becomes your illustrative essay, and then you have 3 body paragraphs that matches your thesis statement. And so I already did, so here for the illustrative essay, it's also known as an example essay, in which you have topic plus controlling idea plus example 1, example 2, example 3. So here you have example 1, example 2, and example 3 for your body paragraphs. Now for your week 9 forum, you're going to convince the reader that your point of view is correct. So you're going to go to procon.org and you're going to choose a topic for your week 9 forum. And so here, all teachers should be paid more money to show respect to teachers, to prevent teachers from quitting, and to attract young people to teaching. And so here, paragraph 2 would be show respect to teachers. So why should teachers be paid more money? It shows respect to teachers. Why should teachers be paid more money? It prevents teachers from quitting. And also why teachers should be paid more money. It attracts young people to teaching. So here you have your 3 body paragraphs, and then you have your thesis statement. So that is a persuasive essay in which you have your thesis statement, reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. You have to convince the reader that your point of view is the correct point of view. So that's going to be for your week 9. And then your process essay is when you write a how-to essay. In other words, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, how to get rich. So to impress the boss. So how do you impress the boss? To impress the boss, one needs to dress professionally, one needs to take initiative, and one always has to be enthusiastic about work. And so in paragraph 2, you're going to talk about dressing professionally. Paragraph 3, you'll talk about taking initiative. In paragraph 4, you're always going to be enthusiastic about work. So that is a how-to process essay. So here you have step 1, step 2, step 3, and then in your thesis statement, you would write step 1, step 2, step 3, so that the steps here are all, they all match. So you always have to have matching body paragraphs. And then a problem solution paper. In a problem solution paper, first half of the paper, you state the problem, and then in the second half of the paper, you state the solution. This is used a lot in scientific papers and research proposals and business proposals. So if you're going to propose a project to your boss, then the first part of the proposal, you'll state the problem. So problem, climate change, background, temperatures are getting hotter, causing extreme weather like hurricanes, floods, or droughts. What purpose? What to do to mitigate the effects of climate change? Thesis. To solve the problem of climate change, nations need to band together to implement solution A, solution B, and solution C. And therefore, solution A, B, and C, in other words, that becomes the rest of your paper. So you discuss viable methods to solve climate change. You use sustainable, how are you going to solve climate change? You use more sustainable energy, you have electric cars, use more windmills, eat less meat, go vegan, and then discussion, how to use these results in real life, and what more needs to be studied. All of this is the same template you use for when you write a science paper. And so in week 11, I'm going to go over how to write a science paper. So I will go over a problem solution paper in week 11, in which I'll spend the entire essay. So you're going to be a science major, you need to learn how to write this, because this is going to be a science paper for your future classes. So, and then the last one, expository narrative essay. So here you already know about topic, opinion, reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. And so today's lecture is pretty short compared to what my usual lectures are like. And so that way, Jasmine and who else had problems with their APA for their chemistry class? Oh, okay, I thought that was Jasmine. All right, so you get to go first. And so if you have no more questions for your class, ENGL 101, at this moment it's okay to say bye. So I gave you a really short. If you have no more questions, you can log off. And then only the people who have questions or difficulties can stay on. So, and if you want to listen, you can do that too. That's up to you at this point, because now you guys get to talk. So, what were you? Let me get the whiteboard. Did you?
I wish y'all the best of luck in y'all chemistry class.
Thank you.
So.
Okay. See you, Asia. Bye. And April, are you staying for the APA and you have questions too?
I was trying to, I saw that you commented.
Can you speak louder? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I saw that you commented, but I was having trouble getting to it.
Oh, that's right. I think I commented on your paper that you confused a story with an essay. Was that your paper?
Well, the original one, but then I changed it for the essay.
Okay.
Can you read that comment?
Yeah,
So,
I want my students to know that when I tell students, I don't want that story, I want an essay. It's not like I'm trying to X out somebody's story and saying, oh, your story is worthless, or I don't like you, or that kind of thing. Basically, I'm just telling you, well, to write in a different style. So basically, an essay is simply a different writing style than a story. When you write a story, you sound less, well, it's more like a book. Fictional. Stories can be both fictional and non-fictional. So if you want to sound more professional, you would write an essay. And so, but anyway, that's why narrative essays are messy, because it can be both. So but I want you guys to practice writing an essay so that when you write essays for your classes, you're not going to be writing a story of your life in your other classes. In your other classes, you're going to be writing essays. So my point is, I just want you to learn the skill set of writing a good essay. That's it. That's basically the purpose. Basically, I think that's one of the purposes of this class, is just to teach you that skill set, so that when you go and write an essay in chemistry or psychology or anatomy, you know how to write that essay. You make a claim and 3 reasons. And the reason why we do a narrative essay is, for most students, writing about yourself is the easiest thing to do, because we already know our life story, which is why when teachers design the class, they design it with, okay, let's have everybody talk about themselves first. Then we have them talk about other topics, that sort of thing. So from easy to difficult. That's how the class is designed, to make it a little easier. Anyway, so that's the whole idea. So who wants to start first? I will get my whiteboard. So
I just know that we have to write we had to pick a chemical out, and then he wants us to write it in APA format. So I did go on Google to see how to do it, but he told us to ask our English teacher how to do an APA format, because he couldn't tell us, basically.
Oh yeah, well that's because a lot of professors believe that it's my job, English teacher's job, to teach the APA. When you come into another class, actually students are supposed to take this class first, learn their APA, and then take their major class, because some professors don't want to be bothered to teach APA because they think you're supposed to already know that. All they want to teach is the chemistry or anatomy or psychology. They think that APA is somebody else's job. So that's why he or she told you to do that. Anyway, so APA, what chemical are you going to choose to write about?
So I'm choosing, I have silver diamine fluoride.
Okay, so let's see if I can get this to work. Why is not that?
Then
Oh,
we can
okay.
pick any
So
chemical, right?
you're going to write
I'm
about.
sorry, I didn't hear you, April.
We can pick any chemical, right?
Well, he told us to choose between three, and then you send it to him, and then he'll tell you which one that you're supposed to do, because all of us have to pick one, so he don't want all of us doing the same chemical. Wait, Maverick.
Oh,
Okay.
Gotta do
And
that.
what does he want you to do with it? Describe the chemical? What does the assignment say?
So he wants us to do like a peer. Excuse me. He wants us to get a peer review articles, and then go from there, basically.
Oh, so you're summarizing an article. Okay. So then when you summarize an article about a chemical, so basically what you're doing is you're summarizing an article about a chemical. So then let's say I'm going to choose, so what chemical did you choose? You're going to have to tell me how to spell it.
SILVER, silver.
Silver.
DIA. DIAMINE.
M-I-N-E. Is that right?
No, DI.
D-I.
No, take out the CI. Erase all that. DIAMINE.
M-I-N-D.
E.
E. That's all right?
INE.
I-N-E. Okay, silver diamine. All right, first you're gonna
Fluoride.
fluoride. Fluoride. That about right?
Yes.
Silver diamine fluoride. Okay, based on our lecture, first before we even do that, based on our lecture, which essay type would fall into? You got to think about it, because a lot of people fell asleep while I was doing my essay structure, going over the essays. But you can apply it to even this class. Which essay type fits what you want to say? That's how you think about it. When we look at the 8 kinds of essays, do you want to write about cause and effect? Are you trying to compare something? Are you trying to classify or define something? I'm guessing that's the one. Most likely you're writing a classification definition. That's my guess off the top of my head, is you're writing a
Yes, I was trying to go into the lecture to see, because I know he wants us to write about the melting point and
definition.
yeah.
What you're doing is more of a definition classification, because definition essays tend to, you define whatever this is, then you classify whatever this is, and that's why I said that definition. So first you could, so here is, this is an example of element A, element B. Let's say, for example, element C. So here, if this is or silver, okay, let me do this. Paragraph 2, element A. I will write different ways of doing this, so that, and this is a classification essay, in case you're wondering. And I remember taking biology. That's all he did all year, was talk about different kinds of insects, different kinds of mammals, and everybody just eyes glazed over until he started talking about his underwear. Then everybody paid attention. Yeah, because he knew that everyone's attention started drifting into, just like when I was doing the different kinds of essays, everybody, and then he goes, and you know my underwear is yellow. Suddenly everyone, what? Yeah, that worked. It still works. So you see how everyone goes, what? Your what is what? So this is a classification. And so if you want to define, okay, fluoride can be defined as definition A, definition B, and definition C. This is how we would, DEF1, DEF2, and then I'll go over the APA, DEF, F3, and then DEF and conclusion. If you want to give me some kind of persuasive, Like silver diamide fluoride is better to use for whatever it is than another chemical. Then you would use comparison contrast. Do you understand? So if I said chemical A is better than chemical B because, then you will have reason 1. And that's also both comparison contrast and persuasive. All of these are interchangeable. The way I teach it, I make it sound like it's always one or the other, and that's not the case. Usually these essays are interchangeable, and then I have to teach it separately so that you can see the differences. Later on, I will teach you how you can compare, how you make it all like everything. So R1, it's not working. R2, it's disappearing off the screen. Let's see. R3. So that's 3 of them off the top of my head. And then when you write, when you summarize something, then you, how long does he want this? How many paragraphs? 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs? You're muted.
1,200 to 1,500 words.
Well, I don't know what that is, but okay. So you can look that up. So I'll just assume that it's 5 paragraphs. So this is so far the 3 that I can come up with off the top of my head. And so for, is this clear? Or do you want me, now I'll go over APA after this. But I get the feeling people.
I'm just trying to write.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to write this.
Is composed of, and then you could have an expository in which, well, I can't fit it on this. I'll wait until you write this down. Then I'll write more. There's more actually. You know, you're going to have the effects of this chemical on are effect A, effect B, effect. Well, I can't. I'll do that in a second. So it depends on what he wants. You know, so you could have the effects of silver diamide fluoride are effect 1, effect 2, and I'm not going to write out, you get the idea that this is the thesis statement, and that those are your, by this time you should know that that's your, you know, your body paragraphs. So that'll save me space. Do you need me to write out paragraph 2 is effect 1, paragraph 2 is effect 3?
Where are you at?
I went to the top. I found another one.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Okay. Is this helping you too, April?
Yes.
And you, Jasmine?
Yes.
Yes, this is helping me.
Oh, okay. There's more, but I gotta wait until, this thing is only so big. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Nah, that's it.
My question is, do you think this is 1,500 words?
Well, you know what? I don't know how many paragraphs is 1,500 words, so you're going to have to use your word count and do that. So sometimes you might only need element A and B. You might not need a paragraph 4, that sort of thing. But basically, you can make these paragraphs as long or as short as you need it to be to fill in the words, you know? So usually each paragraph is about 10 sentences. So I don't know how many words is it. That's why math was never my strong. See, that proves to you math is not my strong suit. My brother can do the math. He would have had that answer that question in his sleep. You see, so he's much better at that. And for me, it's just a mystery. Numbers are a mystery. So I have to defer to my idiot brother. He knows much more math because he likes math. I remember I was doing an algebra problem, and I said spend an entire hour trying to figure it out. Just gotten to the answer, an hour. My brother stood over me, and within 3 minutes he did it in his head, and he goes x equals 4, and he walks right by. He had done the next algebra problem. It takes me an hour to do that. It takes him 2 minutes, and it's in his head. That's disgusting.
I guess me and you have something in common.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't like math. I like English. English is so much fun, like grammar, because it's so easy. So anyway, so here, so the effects of could be effect 1, effect 2, effect 3. Here you have definition. This is what it is. And then what you could have is you could have the first 5 paragraphs could be the definition. The next 5 paragraphs could be it's an element. And then the next, I mean, if you're writing a long paper, you could, if you want to, you can combine everything together if you want. Normally, we separate this in an English class. This would be essay 1, essay 2, essay 3. But for your you know, I'm going to do a how to summarize something. So this is good that I'm learning what you're doing in other classes. So that way, when I prepare my lessons, I will prepare a lesson on how to do this for future students. Okay, are we done with this? Because I'm going to
Yes.
switch over to, I'm going to switch over to APA. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to switch over to APA. What specific questions do you have about APA? First, I'll get that.
How do we use it?
Oh,
Like,
how do you use it? Okay. So when you have
Yeah.
APA, if you're going to have a direct quote, you have to have everything in parentheses, you know? So if I say, in 1962, a junior was part of the civil rights movement. Okay, so anything with dates, numbers, statistics, you have to have it in, you have to have a beginning quotation mark and an ending quotation mark, just like your week 5 quiz. Then you're going to write your the person's name, the author's name. Then you're going to write the date of when this article took place, and then you're going to write the page number. And then this is going to occur inside your body paragraph as pie structure. So that I usually teach this in the second half of the class. But since you need to know it sooner, that's okay. This is also something I teach in the second half of the class. So paraphrase quote. Paraphrase quote is when we summarize. We want to put this quote in our own words. So you would say, in the early 60s, MLK Jr. Does everybody know who MLK Jr. is? I don't have to write that out, do I?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. MLK Jr. was part of a movement that helped African Americans gain the right to vote and many other rights. All right, something like that. So during the civil rights movement, or something like that. Okay, so I just put it in my own words. Not necessarily the best, but so you put it in your own words. That's known as a paraphrase quote. When we do a paraphrase quote, we don't need quotation marks, and all we just need is just this. Okay, and then this occurs in the middle of your paragraph. Okay, I'll teach you how to write a body paragraph later. Then at the end of your paper, you're going to write a reference citation. So then you're going to have the last name of the author, first name of the author, then you're going to have the date, then you're going to have the name of the article, early MLK Jr. and civil rights. You need to italicize this, but I don't think that this whiteboard allows me to italicize. I don't think I can italicize this in the whiteboard. So let's see if that works. Oh no, okay, it deleted everything. So if I go, so you have to write the name of the article, and you have to italicize movement. So italicize this, because it won't let me it allows me to italicize. So italicize the name of the article, and then you got to put a period after each one, period, 2 space, period, 2 space, and then you're going to write in either the name of the website or the publication. Okay, so here you would have name of the website. So let's say I write not cdc.org. Okay, civil rights. Whatever the name of the website is. Okay, so you write either the name of the website or the name of the publication. or the name of the journal. Okay, that's where it goes over there. Then retrieved, what's today's date? Today is, May 10th, 2023, from whatever web address you got it from. Okay, so that's your reference citation. That goes at the end of your paper after the last page. We don't put in our web address in our in-text citation. So when we do this, this is known as an in-text citation, because it occurs inside the text of your paper. Okay? Then I'll teach you how to put something in using PyStructure. So in-text citation. All right, so those are the two kinds. When do we use this? We use APA when any kind of number, when you have percentages, statistics, anything. You know, if I say that I have 55 students in my class, then I've got to, in 1955 or something, 55% of something, she earns $5 an hour, or whatever. She earns 55, don't I wish? $55 an hour? Yeah. Anyway, so any kind of number requires you to have the author, date, and the page number is only if for direct quotes. So remember that for direct quotes, that is you doing it verbatim, okay? Exactly what the author says. Then you have author, date, page number. And then also we use APA for historical facts, medical facts, scientific facts, uncommon knowledge. Okay, so that's when we use APA. Okay, so that when you write your paper about the chemicals, you should write at least one APA. Well, I'll do that in a second. All right, so when you write your body paragraphs, you're going to use PyStructure. At least this is how you do it for a regular English paper. And then it depends on, all right, so first you're going to use main point from thesis. So that's P. That's going to be your first sentence. So if I say that the chemical is defined as element A, so that is from your thesis statement. Okay, that's fine. That's the first sentence. Then I is your in-text citation. Now you're going to take something from your article, less than 3 lines, and then you're going to write Smith 2022, page 22, or whatever, page 2, inside the text. And then E equals 5 sentences that talk about this, what this in-text citation means. So if I talk about smoking is related to lung cancer, then I have an in-text citation that says 95% of people who smoke get lung cancer. Then I put in Smith 2022 page 2. Then for the next 5 sentences I would say many people who smoke die of a young age because they die of a young age of lung cancer because they smoked too early in their lives. So if a teenager is ever offered a cigarette, the teenager needs to say no, because if you don't say no, you end up dying of lung cancer, whatever. In other words, you just write 5 sentences about this in-text citation, and then you're done. So you have main point from your first sentence, then or if you would say element A or chemical A does whatever it is. Let's see, fluoride cleans teeth. Okay, let's say I'm talking about fluoride. So I would say that one of the functions of fluoride is that fluoride cleans teeth. Then you would have something like, according to Dr. Smith, oh yeah, that's right. According to Dr. Smith, date, fluoride cleans teeth. Let's say that's part of his definition. So you could repeat from your first sentence to this one, and then you could write 5 sentences about examples about how fluoride cleans teeth. So that means that if a person drinks water, it whitens the teeth. So it pays to drink a lot of water so that you would have better looking teeth and have fewer cavities, and so on. And then I write 5 sentences to fill in why that's important. You don't have to put in another in-text citation and another in-text citation. We use only 1 in-text citation per paragraph so that we don't overwhelm the reader. And then our in-text citation has to be less than 3 lines. If it's over 3 lines, then that's called a block quotation. That's completely different. So the reason why we want it to be less than 3 lines so that it will fit within our paragraph and it will not interrupt the flow of your essay. If you're going to have something longer than 3 lines, then you're going to need something called a block quotation. So block quotation means a quotation longer than 3 lines. So a block quotation means that if you have your paragraph, then you have to indent. So say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your paragraph, and then the rest of your paragraph is over here. Then your block quotation then has to also be indented 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, its own paragraph, and then it's got to be single spaced. It's different. In other words, it sticks out from the rest of the paper. Okay, so a block quotation is indented and single spaced. But I always tell students to avoid too many block quotations because it breaks up the flow of the essay. And it also makes it look like most of your essay came from someone else's paper. So basically you want to have 80% of your paper is your original thought. Only 20% should be somebody's in-text citation. Otherwise, Turnitin is going to say, oh, this is 100% plagiarized, and it'll get flagged. So you don't want your paper to only be other people's whatever. Okay. So even if you summarize the article in your own words, you still have to cite the article. So when you summarize the article, then you have to then cite it so that the reader knows where all those numbers came from, where all those facts came from, and that way you give credit to the researcher for not plagiarizing, to avoid plagiarism. And then different ways of writing it. There are many different ways. You could say Dr. Smith, and then you have 2023 states, and then you could go like this. And then page 22. Or I'm running out of room. Oh my goodness. Let's see, maybe I could write it over here. Or you could say, or you could just have this, and then you have Smith 2023, page 22. So I'm just going to give you 2 different ways for now of citing. There are many different ways, and I'll do that later. So as long as you have the author, the date, and the page number for your direct quote and quotation marks, that's what's important. If you want to find different ways, you can Google. Did you get everything on top? Is everybody good? Do I need to repeat myself? Do you have any questions?
I don't think so now. I'm just gonna go by this and try to do the paper.
Okay.
But this is helping me out with trying to do the paper.
Okay. APA is not that hard at all. And you can also use Google Scholar for peer reviewed in case you get stuck and you can't figure out how to find a peer reviewed. This I also cover in week 10, but how to find a peer reviewed article. I believe your professor wants this also. Now,
yes.
You can go to Google Scholar. That has peer-reviewed articles. So when you go to Google Scholar, you write in your topic. So write your chemical name, and then type in peer-reviewed article, and then press hit, and then all the peer-reviewed articles will show up. That will be the article that you will use for your assignment. Does that make sense? And then if you use not the LAPU, that's my other school. If you use the Fortis library, same thing. You can choose. There's a menu that's going to have a drop-down menu, and you check the box that says peer-reviewed articles. Same thing. You would put in the name of the chemical, and then also your library should also have a place where you could click a button and it will cite it for you. Most libraries do. APA automatic citation, and you click the button and it will give you a reference citation and an in-text citation. Also, if you use an automatic APA generator, okay, that's on the web. That also generates APA automatically. In case you forgot all of this, you just type in, you go to that. EasyBib is also an APA automatic generator, okay? That sort of thing. And when you write your paper, you need to double space it. You need to have Times New Roman, size 12, and you need to indent 5 spaces the first line of every paragraph. Okay, so you gotta, and that's known as APA formatting, and you gotta have a page number on this side. This is your right side. Yeah, on the right side, upper right side of each page. And so you would have something like your last name, which obviously that's not your last name, that's my last name. And then you're going to have page 2. And you go to insert page number. So insert page number would be this. See, I would go to insert. Do you see my arrow when I go like this? And then you go to insert here, and then you click on this. I'm afraid if I click on this, I'm going to get out of this. So you click on this, and it will have page number. I've got to move this. Yeah, so if you go to insert this, and then it will have page number. That's how you put in the page number. And then when you have, and then you also have to make sure that your reference citations are in left hanging indent. Okay, so you can look that up. So so your reference page is double spaced and has left hanging indent. You can YouTube how to do a left, because I can't do it on this whiteboard. So left hanging indent. There's a gazillion videos on how to do it, and that's only for the reference page. Only the reference page has left hanging. Only the reference page has left hanging indent. The rest of your paper does not have left hanging indent. And also, if you want more examples of APA, you go to www.apa.org. You can also buy the APA manual, which is in its 7th edition. That is the official source of APA, the American Psychological Association. And APA is used in social sciences like nursing and business. Okay, so those are the 2 areas, whereas MLA is used for humanities and history. So I guess that Jasmine got enough. So I could see that she left. She was like, oh, can you help me with my APA? So I guess all of this helped her a lot. I'm glad. I'm actually finished with.
I had a question about English. So for the assignment, we were supposed to just post our essay to the discussion.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So all you had to do is post for week 4, 5, and 6. Your initial post is going to be your rough draft of essay 1, and then in week 6, you're also going to discuss how did you correct your paper, and then that's what I went over the first. You would say I used the cutting paragraph method, or I used the scissor method, or whatever whatever it is you used. So we will be discussing that. I'll go over that some more. So does everyone understand this? The fact that I only have 2 more people left means everybody is satisfied.